KATSEYE Lara with a man? No, but what if you actually hated your fellow members and your fans? But also, why are K-pop fans suddenly like, eat the rich? All that and more on today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. And also, if you too have been trying to pay rent for 2 straight months and your landlord just refuses to accept any of your e-transfers, possibly to try to make a case against you that you're not paying the rent and then try to evict you, well, I hope you have an extra great day today. What is going on with Lara? What is she doing with this man? I'm not actually asking that question, but a lot of people are really confused. So essentially a set of pictures were revealed where Lara is with the man and she seems to be, you know, really close with this man. Perhaps some lips have touched. Me trying not to anger the YouTube gods right now. Just know that I think it's really stupid too. So with the release of these photos, a lot of people were saying Lara has a boyfriend, which is one thing in and of itself for an idol, though mind you, KATSEYE is not K-pop. And many other members have been spotted with their alleged boyfriends as well. But for Lara, who has previously come out to the world as half fruitcake, it led to a lot of questions. One of the questions being, but I thought she was bisexual, which I don't know how to break this to you, but granted, I don't think Lara specifically identifies as bisexual. She did say she was half fruitcake, but I think she's since clarified that she's queer, that she doesn't want to be put into any specific type of box. But this started a whole conversation surrounding her. People really divided about the prospect that she might have a boyfriend, because Lara has since clarified that this photo is actually really old. Like I mentioned, there seems to be a lot of confusion surrounding this, though naturally so many fans came to her defense. You know, with fans saying that she doesn't need to prove herself to anyone, and if she had a boyfriend, it's really nobody's business. Fans even bringing up her thoughts on labels. On Weaver, she basically said, also LOL, the reason why I don't label myself is because I'm not just into men and women. I like anyone, I'm open to anyone enough. Also saying, no, I personally don't like labels. I feel like it keeps me too boxed because I'm truly open to anyone. Love has no limits for me. So this was the initial conversation surrounding the picture. This was before Lara said anything about it, which she since has. Again, going on Weavers and saying, I've just seen this little photo being spread that is from a very long time ago, buddies. Blessings to you and your family, lols. Ending with, who the F even found that? Like, it's one thing if it was a current photo, but can you imagine a picture from a really long time ago featuring an ex of yours? I can't even imagine. And I also heard an audio recording of her saying like, no, I'm not mad about it. I think it's funny. But that picture's from a very long time ago. Even if it wasn't, it shouldn't matter to anybody. She also said when she saw the picture, she was like, yikes. She also says, I hate to share the news today that yes, I have kissed a boy in my lifetime. Quote, I hope you can cope with this knowledge. And she ends off by saying, blessings upon blessings to you and your loved ones. I also remember back when pictures of Megan and her alleged boyfriend were revealed, and people were also confused, being like, isn't she bisexual? And I remember she actually did a live stream with Mano, and they were talking about like weird things they've gotten hate for, and she basically referenced that, saying, you know, some people not knowing what bisexual is. But I digress. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What if you were an idol, but you hated your members and your fans? Wooah Lucy has been a huge topic of conversation recently because of some recently revealed text messages. So let's take a look at the text messages and what people have to say about this. So Lucy says, I feel that way about Kim Min-seo and Kwon Na-yeon, which is Nana. But the thing is, I really want Park Jin-kyung, Wooyeon to get effed over too. The fans, the company, and the members, they're all targeting me. The person she's talking to responds, why the members? Lucy says, I have my reasons. It's also effed up. I was told I'd have a tough year. It's been effing hell so far. From there, she talks about how some of the members with the best images are actually the ones who are the most quote unquote effed up. The person she's talking to says, all 4 members? Or is it one particular member? With Lucy responding, I don't know. For now, 2. Well, if it's 2 out of the 4 other members, I think we could consider it the whole group. Can't you let us know which 2 though? Lucy says, who else? It's obviously Jin-kyung and Sora. The ones who have good reputations are actually the ones who are the most effed up. Then she talks about how the members want to disband and how their living situation is not the best. I'm so proud of myself for being here and surviving through this. How am I supposed to keep living in the dorm with these people? I do want us to disband. No one here wants to keep the group going, lol. I also came across this thread that features more messages, and it seems that there's even a video of her allegedly vaping. Are we even doing this? I clearly said I don't want to do this job, that I want the group to disband, that there's no limit, and that I hate the fans. So why should I even make an effort? It's not like my mind changed for no reason, you know? I have have no desire to do well for the remaining period. Absolutely not. Even if the other members don't care, I'm not going to do what the fans want. So on one hand, there are fans who are saying that she's ruined the group. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a parasocial element to standing K-pop groups. People speculate that it's just a business transaction between the members, that they don't always like each other. But that's definitely not good for the parasocial element. I don't know, you see so many comments of people being like, oh, this member and that member would totally do that, like they're besties, da-da-da-da. Like, it's part of it. So to know that the members don't like each other doesn't look good on the group. And the love for fans is another huge aspect to standing K-pop, right? Not even just K-pop. If you don't like your fans and you make it known you don't like your fans, there's gonna be fans defending that, being like, well, like, not like all fans, like, you know which fans are talking about, right? But for a lot of fans, it's not gonna go over so well. So again, on one hand, some people are thinking she ruined the group with this, basically breaking this image that the group had, that most groups have, right? But on the other hand, there's a lot of people defending her, saying that she's being overworked, that she's not happy in the job that she has, and being a K-pop idol is definitely not easy, so they understand. And if you were just venting to somebody about something privately, it doesn't mean you feel that way all the time. And if she really is being mistreated by her fellow members, that's an added layer on top of potentially being mistreated by a company too. Here are some quote tweets. I've seen a lot of people attacking her, but is this the whole story, or am I missing pieces? Because that just sounds like someone who is not getting paid, working in an environment she hates and with people she dislikes. It seems more worrisome than deserving of hate. To give her the benefit of the doubt, I bet the girls are under such stress with constant hiatuses and confusion on if they're going to disband. What will life look like after? A sad situation all around, really. So of course, in the text messages, we saw that Nana specifically was mentioned. And Nana recently posted some selkas, so people have been talking about that. Heard I was cancelled, unbothered queen. Now, of course, we haven't had any responses from the company themselves, but I would love to know what your take is on this whole situation, especially when it comes to idols being friends versus idols being co-workers, or even idols disliking each other within their own groups. What are your thoughts about that? K-pop fans woke up today and were suddenly like, eat the rich. There is so much going on in the world right now. We see in the Philippines and Indonesia with heavy emphasis on the elite and corruption. Now, what does this necessarily have to do with K-pop? There's like a tiny little link, but I do think these issues are worth looking into and just reflect a more widespread consciousness that I think is becoming more and more common. Even in my comment section, if I would have said similar thoughts 5 years ago, people would have been like, I mean, people still are defending the ultra rich. But a lot of thoughts have changed. Like, people are opening their eyes to a lot of inequality, which has definitely extended to K-pop, especially since Annie of ALLDAY project, the granddaughter of the chairman of Samsung, joined a K-pop group. Now, I'm not saying that she is responsible for South Korea's corruption problems. This is just a conversation I've been witnessing, which will bring us into other conversations surrounding other idols, so on and so forth. So Annie went viral for being a chaebol. What is a chaebol? Chaebol can refer to a handful of families that have a lot of power, who tend to have ties to the government, which brings us to issues of corruption and exploitation. And of course, because of this, they're heavily criticized. Because Annie is like the granddaughter of the Samsung chairman. I've had this conversation before, but it has resurfaced. There are actually quite a few tweets, some of which have been since deleted. But for example, here, who actually cares that Annie is rich? That's actually such a bizarre thing to get canceled over. She's not just rich, she belongs to a family with a long history of unethical business practices. Google is free, mama. I don't care enough to Google it. This is why I refuse to only call her a Nepo baby. She's a fourth generation chaebol. Her family is not simply rich. They control almost everything in the country, like eat the rich level of wealth and power. They're also sharing this GoFundMe, which on that note, I have resources linked in my link tree. When you realize the families of politically corrupt people are the ones contributing to problems in their country, you will gain 2 neurons. The way you think it's about being rich, but then will be anti-capitalist tomorrow is so fake, only doing this because she's Korean. Which brought up the comparison that no matter who it is, if they were in a K-pop group, you'd probably stan them. You guys would defend Elon Musk if he was from a Korean boy group named X instead. I think if you consume copious amounts of media from a country, you should be well versed in its history. Chaebols are the type of wealthy that is above the law, and her family is notorious for corruption, abuse of power, and shunning those who marry into it, among many other things. Now, needless to say, not everyone feels this way. There are people defending her, saying she's not a billionaire, that she can't help the family that she was born into, that she's actively going against what her family would want by becoming an idol. I definitely love to know your thoughts about that. Do you think in choosing an idol life above anything else, does that necessarily change things? What do you think of this whole conversation? Because I know there's a lot of people who think if it's not your money, it's none of your business. So I would love to hear what kind of conversation gets started in the comments. But this brings us to Wonyoung. Fans have been discussing other fans giving idols expensive birthday gifts. So if we see here, Jang Won-yeon's fans prepare a 500 million Korean won birthday support gift set for Jang Won-yeon. And as we can see here, fans are preparing super expensive things for her. Van Cleef & Arpels bracelet, Bulgari necklace. Like, these things are incredibly expensive, and this isn't the first time. I mean, she's been an idol for a while, and I've personally seen as each birthday goes by, fans putting a lot of money into designer gifts for her. While some fans think this is a nice gesture towards someone they really love, there are other fans saying she doesn't need this. Why all buying a millionaire stuff she could easily buy herself? And people are fighting in the comments. This is crazy. 500 million won is around $358,000. Like, this is the whole concept of birthday presents, to give something from your heart to your loved ones. Some fans are wealthy and generous, and we love them for that. You've never heard about the concept of a gift? Exactly, it should be the other way around. You know, a lot of people bring up that she's an ambassador for some of these brands. She can get this stuff for free, which in and of itself is an entirely different thing that we could discuss. You know, the people who can afford to get these things, and this is celebrity culture in general. When you see a celebrity going to a specific restaurant and the restaurant owner is like, don't pay, you don't have to pay, don't worry about it. The people who can afford these things are often given almost everything for free. Meanwhile, the people who can't afford it have to pay full price. So people have been discussing that. There's also G-Dragon, whose manager posted a picture of his private jet. So fans are critical of that as well. This is definitely contributing to increased carbon emissions. Honestly, unless he's taking a private jet out of scheduling necessity, it doesn't look good. GD just gets criticized nonstop. Like, people have their eyes on fire. I'm not really a big fan of GD, but criticizing him like this is way too unfair. I care about environmental issues too, but the comments are kind of weird. There's someone in the comments who clearly has way too much free time. Why don't they just write their own posts instead of frothing and flailing on someone else's? Wow, if you're going to go on about worrying so much about the environment in the comments, you'd be better off just turning off the internet yourself. There's a real keyboard warrior here. I'm sure you guys have all heard the criticism of Taylor Swift taking private jets for short amounts of time. I mean, private jets are definitely environmentally unfriendly. Again, it's kind of a situation of like, well, if you're so mad at them destroying the environment, why don't you do something very small to not destroy the environment? While big corporations aren't held accountable, celebrities aren't held accountable, but like you and your internet, you better watch out. I obviously have very strong thoughts about this. I've talked about it on my podcast. I don't know what else I can say, because if you have this mentality that like, oh, rich people could do whatever they want with their money, I mean, they do. I don't know what you're trying to defend. They do. And look at what it's gotten us. Nothing, actually. You don't benefit from it at all, so I don't know why you're defending it, but I digress. Here's the thing. The whole eat the rich thing obviously doesn't apply to everybody, right? When you get into billionaire territory, I think, you know, there's no question. But when it comes to idols who we may think are richer than they are, I think that's definitely a different conversation, right? I'm not saying all idols are rich and evil, but I do think the way we talk about wealth in general is just really weird. But I think given everything that's going on in the world, what people are experiencing in their daily lives, when you see people flex their wealth, it's no longer something cool that you admire. At least majoritarily, I feel like, again, 5 years ago, a lot of people like loved that stuff, and now there's been a shift and people are so much more critical. Anyways, guys, I have resources linked in my link tree, so make sure you go check it out. And if there's ever anything important you would like me to add, feel free to let me know as well. So yeah, with all that, let's move on to some more news. On that all-day project note, we have Woochan, who was accused of being homophobic in a recent live stream. Okay, so he was doing a live stream and someone basically asked him, a fanboy asked him, well, basically didn't ask, just said, Hyung, let's date. So Hyung is the term for older brother. Now, it doesn't necessarily only mean your sibling. You can use it for somebody who's not related to you. You can use it for someone who's related to you. Just to clarify. Let's watch the video.
형 사귀자. 너는 형인데 나랑 사귀려고 그러면 어떡하니? 나는 그런 아니야.
So here the translation seems to be a little bit off, because it seems he's actually saying, but if I'm a hyung to you, why would you try to date me? This opened up a whole conversation. I mean, if you went on Twitter at one point, everybody was accusing him of being homophobic. People were bringing up other idols who have had similar questions asked to them and comparing their responses to his responses. On the other hand, there were some people saying that he's just saying he's straight, like there's nothing really wrong with that. And then on the third hand, there are people saying it was more about an age related thing, because the guy calls him Hyung, so he's like, but if I'm a Hyung to you, how could you think of us dating? It was more an age thing. Needless to say, a lot of people were just really divisive over this. Here's what some of you had to say. I'm so thankful for this new generation of idols. They're not taking anything from these weird parasocial fans. Good on him. You shouldn't ask idols to date you in the first place. I'm a gay guy and it wasn't homophobic at all. It was literally just telling the fan that he's straight and that there's an age gap, not not to mention that asking an idol to date isn't appropriate and weird in the first place. It makes sense why he was weirded out. People need to realize that not everyone is gay and people need to respect that. The age thing is like, I doubt it's right, but I don't want to paint people badly. The way he responded, the tone, as if it's like, oh, I'm a man, it's impossible to date one, with a negative vibe. Like, you can say you're straight without doing that, man. I mean, he didn't have to respond to that comment at all. It was a tad overly defensive in my opinion, but it could be discomfort from a weird fan asking a weird question. He could have simply not read the comment or said, thanks, I'm flattered, but no thanks. But instead he said, how could you ever think that? And I'm not like that, which is something different. A-okay that he's straight, obviously, but he had other opinions in this case to express that without insinuating anything. I highly doubt the same thought would have come to his mind if the comment said oppa instead of hyung. But let me know your thoughts about that. GIRLSET recently released their song Commas, and though a lot of fans are celebrating it, there has been some criticism, maybe a lot of criticism. Some saying that it's weird that they released a choreography video 4 days before the music video, that both the choreography video and the music video were a little low budget, that the song is too short. And then JYP himself posted this to his Instagram. It's basically a video highlighting the 4 members in A2K and then showing the Commas choreography video, but he writes, "Thank you for staying focused, hungry, resilient, and most of all, together." So a lot of people had something to say about that, specifically for the wording used, hungry and together. Now, of course, we all know that KG filed a lawsuit against JYP where she described their food being heavily controlled. And of course, 2 members left the group. So there's some people saying it was really inappropriate of him to write that. Now, I think it's important to mention that being hungry for something doesn't necessarily always mean for food, right? You could be hungry for success, so on and so forth. But here's what people were saying. Whole year and a half waiting just for GIRLSET to be dancing to an ITZY demo, staying hungry. I think there should have been more effort from the company, as this was supposed to be a big comeback with a rebrand. It looked super low budget, no set changes or outfit changes. It doesn't even look like a standard performance video. Sounds like a jab at KJ and Kaylee for not staying. Hungry, it's like they said that intentionally to be misunderstood. Now, on top of that, it seems that JYP is set to debut a new girl group, a new 5-member girl group soon, which has led to even more criticism because people are saying they can't even manage the groups they currently have. The company keeps debuting girl groups and then don't know what to do with them. I'm so tired. JYP doesn't need a new girl group. They need to promote NMIXX better. GIRLSET just got here, NMIXX only just developed and found their sound. They still have unfinished business with ITZY, and they have like 4 active boy groups that nobody knows. Let me know your thoughts about that. G.Na has spoken out after 9 years of silence after her scandal. I don't know if you guys know G.Na. She has a lot of amazing songs. She was a soloist under Cube Entertainment, and unfortunately around 2016, her career was essentially ruined because, according to her, she thought she was meeting a man for a date, but it seems that the person who had set them up was a broker, and it seems that there was an exchange of $25,000. Ultimately, it seems she was charged with a 2 million Korean won fine for this. That was 9 years ago, but she has since posted this to her Instagram and wrote the following. Hi again. I've carried this quietly for years. While working in Korea's entertainment industry, I went through an experience that changed me deeply. What hurt most wasn't what happened. It was the silence. I disappeared not to hide, but to survive. But I'm not that scared girl anymore. I'm no longer defined by the past, but by what I choose to do now. I've healed, I've grown, and I'm reclaiming my voice, not to relive old wounds, but to move forward with honesty and love. To my loyal fans who never stopped believing in me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. To those who walked away, I understand, and to anyone silenced by shame, your story isn't over. How have you guys been lately? It's been a long time. Much love, G.Na. I think she's probably best known for All Back Off So You Can Live Better, but she has so many great songs: Banana, Oops, Black and White. But yeah, with that, let's move on to Kpop Shenanigans, which are basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop recently and or quick news. And Hypen's Nicki has gone viral after he revealed that he hasn't been able to visit home since before Island, which is what formed ENHYPEN. Now, of course, he's originally from Japan. He also mentioned that he hadn't been home in so long that he didn't know if his bedroom would even be there anymore. After that, it seems that his dad posted saying, "Nicki, you still have your room in your home. Please come anytime." But a lot of fans were not happy to hear about this. Not the dad situation, but that he wasn't able to visit home. A K-pop stylist recently revealed that there are different styling teams, including stylists for plain clothes. So if you go to the airport, if you're just wearing casual clothing, idols still have a stylist for that, and people were shocked. Twice's Nayeon was out and about and she spotted a fan wearing her merch, so she took pictures of the fan. Here's the full picture. Okay, people have been discussing KATSEYE's Daniela because she revealed that a culture shock living with the members was that they took off their shoes when entering the house, and she didn't grow up doing that. Like, she would just walk to her bedroom in her shoes. So I'm just loving this the conversation surrounding this, and I want to know, which country are you from, and do you take off your shoes when entering the house? Because I'm under the impression that it's just an American thing. Like, it's a shock to me when I'm watching TV and like they go onto their bed and they're wearing shoes. There is a rumor that SM are going to debut a co-ed group. So the rumor includes Karina of aespa, Sergi of Red Velvet, Kai of EXO, Taeyong of NCT, and Mark of NCT. But that's just a rumor. But yeah, I reckon that is basically it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And as for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh my gosh, song of the day. I've actually been listening to a couple of songs, so let me share them with you. I've been listening to XOXZ by IVE. I love this song so much. The pre-chorus is literally so magical. Give me all that. I've also been listening to Sex on the Beat by Adele. Hey Hey by Tuas. I've loved this song previously. I was reminded of it in a live stream, which by the way, I hope to see you at the next live stream. And Sticky Fingers by Ashniko. So those are some songs I've been listening to. I was in a little bit of a dry spell, but there's my little playlist for you guys.